Good evening, everyone. How was your Friday? It's Theresa again with Heaven on Earth Healing, something we're all striving for. This day was an interesting one, wasn't it? Having a repeat reminder of round and round. And I hope that you took some time today to really become aware of what are those things in your life that you keep repeating. And, you know, I must be going through it too, because I believe that I'm looking at things from a different perspective as well. Um, and it's so hard to know. Everyone's in different situations, and yet we're all in the same boat. So this Friday evening, I actually pulled another card from another deck, asking for a little more support and guidance for, what are those things? How do we integrate these lessons? How do we gain our wisdom and move forward? And so, and I say that with a little frustration because, staying at home and not really getting to see your loved ones is really difficult at times, especially on weekends. Anyway, um, I pulled a card from the Healing with the Angels Oracle deck, and this is from Doreen Virtue. She was probably let's see, that wasn't my first deck. It was not my first deck. I'll talk about that later. Anyway, I pulled a card asking for extra guidance around round and round, and this is the card that I got. Harmony. Oops. Pull it back a little bit so you can kind of see it better. There. Yeah. So harmony, the card harmony actually has to do with resolving conflict. So I'm going to just read this, and then I want to share a story about something that came up for me about this. Conflict is resolved in a situation that was troubling you. Know that you deserve this peace and happiness and accept it graciously. Beloved child of God, you are a peace lover at heart. This card comes to you as a sign of new harmony that dawns upon you. Let go of viewing the situation as troubled and see yourself with others through the eyes of your guardian angels. In this way, you'll look past the surface and see the beauty and light that eternally shines within everyone. By shifting your viewpoint in the angelic perspective, you become an earth angel. Holding an elevated viewpoint sparks miraculous healings in all of our relationships. Conflict drops away, revealing the clean and new truth about everyone and everything. So this reminds me of a couple of stories. One being how I was really sad about something that I had no control over, something that I couldn't put any more positive energy into. Nothing was working, and I was just at my wit's end one night, so I went into my healing room, wrapped myself in my blanket that my daughter had given me, a polar bear blanket, closed my eyes and just let myself have the emotion and just, break down, tears, sobbing. And then suddenly I had this vision in my mind, and it was giraffe. Giraffe spirit showed up. And not only did it show up, but I became one with it. I suddenly was inside of the giraffe, and suddenly it was showing me, it was moving me up its neck, up to its head, and looking out through its eyes. And suddenly I saw this panoramic view of the world that I hadn't seen before. So, and really within that moment of actually seeing the vastness of creation, that issue that I was so stuck on and that I was so sad about just melted away. It dissolved. It completely dissolved because of Giraffe Spirit showing me his point of view. And I forever, ever, ever am grateful to Giraffe Spirit for showing me how to have a bigger view, a grander view, to look outside of the problem instead of keep looking inside of the problem. Yeah, and so I really walked away from that situation with a lot more peace and a lot more lightness. And yeah. And the other thing I want to share with you was another story that I recognize as how powerful we are when we are in a uplifted, powerful, energetic place. And what I mean by that is, I'm just going to give you this example, you're going to love it. So there was a time when I had teenagers, and they, of course, did a lot of he said, she said, and they're always blaming each other and always fighting over something, right? And at the same time, I was in this process of going through certification for becoming a Tai Chi Chi instructor. And if you don't know what Tai Chi Chi is, it's a form of Tai Chi. It's a slow moving meditation practices. Anyway, I had already been a student of it for about 2.5, 3 years. And it was time for me to become an instructor. I just knew that I was ready for it. And what that entailed was 5 days, 6 days of certification training. So we were being observed for 6 days, 8 hours a day, doing the practice, giving presentations, practicing how to be a teacher. And on the first day, I felt like, wow, this is great. I get away from the arguing teenagers to get to practice Tai Chi all day long, 8 hours. And I'm like, wow, what a treat. And so I would be in this state of, bliss and peace while I was practicing all day on day one. And then I would get in the car, I would get home, and then suddenly it would all go away. I was back in the drama with my kids and back in the frustration and back with being challenged again. So that was on day one. Day two, it became a little bit less, but I was still dealing with crisis, and I would get in the car and find out my dog needed to go to the emergency room. And so that threw me off too on day two. On day three, something shifted for me. Day three, I got home and they were doing their drama, but I stepped back from it. It wasn't that I didn't deal with the situation. I was just dealing with it in a totally different way. And the reaction I remember from the kids was like, whoa, what's going on with mom? She's not acting normal. She's not yelling at us. She's not saying, okay, you go over here and you do this. And, I wasn't doing that. I was saying, okay, guys, if you're going to not be honest with each other about who did what, then you're all going to have to deal with the solution of this situation. And then I just kind of like walked away. And so that was day three. So I had 20, no, I had I had 24 hours of Tai Chi, 3 days worth of Tai Chi underneath my belt. And I was starting to feel that inner peace ground me more. So by day 4 and day 5, I literally saw a difference in my kids. They really started to, day 4, they started to resolve their problems. They were still having problems. They were still dealing, getting sucked into dramas of blame. But they also started to deal with it together. They started to resolve it. It was really kind of interesting. These are teenagers, right? How often are they that resourceful? All right. And then on day 5, this was really amazing. They literally, they were like angels. They were kind to one another. They were respectful of one another. They got along. They did their chores. They did their homework. They did the stuff that just made everything feel like we were in harmony. And day 6 was the same. It just continued on just like that for 3 months. Maybe it was 4 months. I'm thinking it was 3. But that's the miracle, because teenagers don't do that for very long. If they're going to be like angels, they're going to be angels for a couple of days or maybe a week, but never for that length of time. And all I can do is attribute it to my practice of meditation. I was doing daily Tai Chi practices and Qigong practices, and I was in a state of bliss. It continued on with me for sure for 3 months, and I don't remember what happened. And eventually, we go back down into other activities. They get pulled away, certain things kind of interject, life happens, and we start to get pulled out of that experience again. But it sure was 3 months of miraculous harmony. And all I can say that I can attribute it to is that my practice of meditation and creating peace within myself allowed me, it changed my environment, including my little humans, teenage humans at the time. So that was really quite a lesson for me, and a reminder that if I can find peace within myself, I have the opportunity to offer that same vibration of peace and harmony with others around me, no matter if they're part of my family or complete strangers. It doesn't matter. And so that's the second story, I guess. I'm sure that there are many stories like that. In fact, I do recall a Qigong practitioner, meditator, was a friend of mine. We were in the same Qigong practice at the same time many, many years ago. And a he was a business owner and had 5 kids, married. And at the time that I met him, he was going through this real struggle with his marriage, and he had already kind of planned that he was going to be separated and divorced and all that. But after he continued to practice Qigong, he found peace. And what ended up happening was everyone in that household, including his wife, also found peace. And they ended up reuniting and really building a new relationship together. It was really beautiful to observe and to witness his growth and the happiness that was growing within his family, just because, again, he only attributes to his meditation practice. So the power of meditation and the power of being grounded within your own peace, in your own center, is really amazing. So that let's just do a little meditation practice right now, just to ground you before you go off to sleep, as your subconscious mind and whole self and your soul continues to move these stories, weave these stories within your own story, applying them how is best for you in your situation. All right, so go ahead and close your eyes. Put your feet up if you haven't already. And just begin to breathe. getting better and better at this as you gently become aware of your breath and gently be present with each moment as it passes, as you continue to breathe all the way in with this deeper, still presence, and all the way out with this deep, still presence. Filling yourself up with the blessings, whatever parts of the stories that are really supporting you right now. Imagine that as you continue to breathe in peace and harmony, imagine that you're grounding yourself as well as connecting with the cosmos all at once. The more you feel grounded in your own breath, your own inner peace, the more you can rise up your consciousness, raising your awareness, raising your vibration as you rise up way above your own home, looking down at it as you continue to rise up, seeing the vaster view of your town or your city or the country. Continue to rise up even higher, see the entire planet Earth as you ground yourself with peace and harmony. Rising up and seeing the grander view unattached to those old stories. And seeing the beauty of all creation. And from this viewpoint, from this view of all creation, notice that you can reach out your hands to your sides and connect with other souls that are all meditating at this moment on planet Earth right now. And even connecting with the angelic realm if you wish, or others that have maybe left their earth bodies but are still energetically with us. Just join hands with all those beings of light all around the planet, above the planet, and just looking out at all of creation and the cosmos. Feeling the love, feeling peace and harmony flowing from one being to the other. As this energy continues to flow from one being to yourself, to the other, and all around, just feel your heart expanding with love. Maybe even feeling lighter, maybe even tingly. Yes, you being here, connected with all the other light beings, is vitally important. Thank you. Thank you for being a part of this family of souls of light. As you now slowly hold and keep this feeling of oneness with you in your heart, as you slowly descend back to the earth, getting closer and closer to where you live, where your body lives, floating above your home. And now, shoop, back into your body. Take 3 deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth as we come to a close. Coming back into your body, into your room. Now, gently open your eyes. Welcome back. That was a lovely meditation, and I have to just say that after giraffe medicine or spirit giraffe showed up for me, it's been much easier to go to that higher perspective. So I encourage you and remind you to keep practicing your Zen breaks throughout the day, because those tiny little breaks will build up a new pattern, a healthier pattern in your life. And obviously the benefits are wonderful. So until next time, Theresa May, Heaven on Earth Healing. Don't forget to subscribe so you always get up-to-date information from me. And don't forget to share it with your friends. Thanks, everyone. Good night.